class. So today we're going to be looking at append and merge, how to append and also how to merge using Power BI desktop. Okay, like we know, append is used to increase the rows of a data, while merge is used to increase the columns of a data. Okay, so without much doing, let's get to see how this is done. Okay, for us to do this, we need to first of all append. And for you to append, you need to have data of the same structure inside a folder for you to be able to combine them or append them. Okay, now for me to do this, I already have my data inside a folder, data of the same structure inside a folder. Now I have three tables inside that folder. A transaction for 2021, 2020, 2021, and 2022. So I'm going to be appending these three tables first of all. I bring in the other tables. Okay, now let me get to it. Now for me to do this, I'll have to go to my data here. Now on my data, I'll go to more because what I have is in a folder. So I'm going to go into folder. Then on my folder, I'll click on connect. So it will take me to my system folders. Now when I get to this place, I'll click on browse. Now when I'm on browse, I'll look for the folder I named. So I have a lot of folders down here. Let me locate it. Okay, let me pick this person here. So this is the folder I named. Okay, let me click OK. Now I have it here. I have it on the folder part. This is what I named it. This is what I named the folder while creating it. Okay, then I'll click OK. Now when I click OK, it will first of all come out like this. Now this is what appending looks like. Now we say that append stacks data vertically on top of each other. Okay, it increases the row of a data. For example, if you had 100 rows on these transactions here, on this table, which is 2020, if you had 100 rows here, and you have 50 rows here, and you have 50 rows here. Now, if you combine this, if you append this to this, it becomes 150 rows. And if you add this to this, it becomes 100 rows. Okay, so it simply increases the rows on a data. Okay, now when I have this here like this, I would want to combine them and then transform it. Why? Because I want to work on it, clean it, add more tables to it. Now this is what I want to do. Okay, now for me to do this, I'll have to come to my combine here. I'll click on my combine here, and this will open combine and transform data. I want to combine it, transform it, that is add things to it, clean it, remove inconsistencies, remove dirtiness and all of that. Okay, so I'll click on this. Now it's going to take me to Power Query for me to do these things I need to do. Now when I have here like this, it says combine files. It's written here combined file. So this is my combined file here, and I'm going to click OK. Okay, let me come down here. My Power Query is here. Okay, so this is what I have. This is what I have here. This is what I have. This is what I have here. So first of all, the first column I'm seeing here is source name. This is simply the name of the data set itself. So to clean this table that I brought in, that I just appended, I do not need this column. So I'm going to right click on it and click remove. Now the next person I have here is my transaction date. Now if I filter this and load more, I'm going to see what I have here. Okay, so I have my from 2020 to 2021 down here. Okay, so I appended successfully. Okay, let me cancel this. Now the next, these are the columns I have. Now I also have this primary keys here. Now, if we remember, I said we are going to append and merge. And for us to merge, we need these primary keys for us to be able to connect the other tables, for us to be able to create the relationships. We need these primary keys for us to be able to do that. And for us to do this, like I said, we need data of the same structure. Now I'm going to be changing all of this to text. Let me change the primary keys. Let me change the data types to text. Okay. Okay, that is it. So the next person we have here, the next column we have here is the quantity column. Okay, so I'm going to be leaving this table like this for now. Now I need to bring in other tables that I need to merge. I have 4 more tables to bring into this work that we're going to be using to do our merging. We first of all appended, which is the transaction 2020, 21, and 22. So we need other tables that we're going to use to merge our work. Now, merging simply helps you to create relationship between multiple tables. Let's assume you work in an office and you deal with multiple tables. You need to maybe make them into one large table to work with. Now, merging will help you to achieve this. So let me get to bringing in the tables. Now for me to bring in these tables, I'll go to my new source here. Now on new source, I'll click on a CSV because the file type I want to bring in is a CSV file. Okay, so let me see if I'll see it on my. Okay, I think I have it here. So let me bring in the first table. So the first table I'm going to bring in is the customer table. So I'll click open. So it's going to open like this. Customer lookup CSV is going to open like this, and I'll click OK. Now when I click OK, this is my customer lookup here. So this is where it's going to add. It's going to add right here. So I'm going to change, let me work on this table, on this customer lookup. So I'm going to change this to text, replace current. Okay, I've worked on this. Now I don't need this column, this customer ID. Remove. Now I am cleaning this data based on the objective I am working with. Okay, I am cleaning this data based on the objective I am working with. Now I'm going to talk about the objective when I start doing the modeling. Okay, so this is my first name and my last name. So I would like to do something here. I want to have the first letter here. Okay, like Sherry N. Okay, let me split this. So I'll click on this last name, split column by number of character. Okay, I want to keep one character once as far left as possible. Okay, so I have this. Now I do not need this last name too. I'm going to click on it, right click and remove it. So I'm going to be merging this column and this column. Okay, because I can't have a first name line on one column and then a last name on another column. I need to merge them together to put the 2 columns together. Okay, first of all, I'm going to click on this first name, hold my control key and select the last name. Right click and then merge columns. Now because I'm dealing with a name, normally a name you write the first name then a space. So on the separator I'm going to be using space. Now on the new column name I'm going to write it Let me say names. Okay, let me click OK. So they are joined here. Now this customer address column, I do not need it. Okay, I have city here. I don't need this province as well. I'll remove it. Postal code, I don't need it. I'll remove. Okay, I need the customer country. I also need the birth date. The marital status, I need it. I don't need the yearly income for my objective, so I'm removing it. I need the gender. I don't need this total children. I don't need all of this here. So I'm going to be removing from this total children down to the last column I have here. Okay, right click and remove columns. So at the end of the day, I have 7 columns left. I have 7 columns left. Okay. Now, as this is here, on this birthday, this data didn't give us age. It didn't give us age. So I'm going to be teaching us how to extract age from a birth date. What they simply give us here is the year people were born, the year their customers were born. And they didn't give us age, the actual age. And from the objective I'm using to clean this data, they said we should do a demography analysis. Now, you know that demography analysis falls on the gender and the age and all of that. So I need to extract age from this. So let me teach us how to do this extraction. Now, first of all, I'm going to select this birth date. Now, on this birth date, I'll go to add column. Now, on my add column, I'll come to date. Now, on my dates, I'll click on age. Now, on the age, I have this here. It will show in duration. Okay, now I'll click the age I have. I'll go to transform tab. On my transform tab, on my right here, I'll come to duration. Now I'm going to click total years. Now it's going to give me the age, but then in decimal because the data type here shows decimal. So the only thing I'm going to simply do now is to change this to whole number to round the ages up. Now this is what I have. This is what I have. Now, if I'm going to do the age group, I can successfully group these ages here. I can successfully group the age that I have here. Okay, let me cancel this. So we've successfully extracted age from the birth date. So in case you're working on a data and you weren't given age like this, and you are only given the birth dates, this is what you can do to get out your age and then do your demography analysis. Okay, let me move on from that. Now again, I need to bring in another table too. Okay, now for me to bring in another table, I'll have to go back to home, new source again, text CSV because I'm working with a CSV. I'll go to quick access. Then the next one I'm bringing up is the product. Okay, open. So the same way I'm going to click OK. Okay, I have the product table up here now. Now I'm going to also clean this. Now I'll click here, make this text, the ID, I made it text. Okay, I have the product brand, I have the product name, I need all of this for my analysis. I don't need the product SKU, I'll remove it. Okay, I have the product retail price. So I'm going to change this to unit price. And I have the product price, and I'm going to change it to cost price. Okay, I have this. Now from this product with this recyclable facts. I'm going to be removing them because I do not need them for my analysis. So I simply have my cost price, unit price, product name, product brand, and product ID for this particular table. Now my first table is still here, which is the transaction table. It's still here. Okay, my second table, the customer table, is still here. Now the product table, which we just worked on now. Okay, so let me go ahead and bring in the fourth table. Okay, so let me go back here again. Okay, I'm here. Okay, let me bring in my region. Open. And click OK. Okay, on the region ID, I'm simply going to change to text, change the data type to text, place current. I do not need the sales district, so I am going to be removing it. So what I simply have here is sales region and region ID and sales region. These are the two columns I have left here. Okay, so let's bring in the last table. So on the new source again, text CSV. So I'm going on. The last one is store. Okay, so this is what we have here. Let me click OK. Okay, this particular table looks really messy and dirty, so we have to work on it too. Okay, first of all, we see that there are empty rows up here, and our column name is sitting on the row 7 instead of the column headers. Now the column headers are showing column 1, column 2, and the rest. So we need to make this our column headers to sit properly where they should. Now for me to do this, first of all, I'll use this use first row as header on the home ribbon. I'll click on it. Now we call this to promote header. Now as I click, if you notice, these headers before it was sitting on row 7, now it's sitting on 6. If I click on this use first row as header again, it will move to 5. If I click on it again, it moves to 4. If I click again, it goes to 3. If I click again, it goes to 2. If I click again, it goes to 1. And if I click again, it sits on the headers now. So this is it. We call it to promote headers. But this still doesn't solve our problem. Now if you look at our column quality, it still shows valid 77%, error and empty here 23%. So if you scroll down here, we still have no showing and some empty other places. So we need to take care of this. Now for me to take care of this, I need to do it on the primary key. I need to take care of this on the primary key. Now our primary key here is the store ID because we are on the store table. Okay, we are on the store table. So the primary key here is the store ID. Now first of all, let me make this person text. Replace current. Now I'm going to filter this, and if you filter it, if you come here, you will see that there's a blank here. So I'm going to uncheck this blank and click OK. Now when I did this, all the errors got corrected. And if I scroll down, there is no more error down here. So all the errors corrected. Okay, so let's now work on the table. Now the second column I have here is region ID. Now this region ID we have here, I'm going to also make it text. Why? Because we're going to be using this region ID here to link up this region ID that is here when we are trying to create our relationships. Okay. Now let's get back to this. Now we have a store type here, we have a store name. I don't need this for my analysis, so I'm removing it. We have the store street address. I am also removing it. Okay. We'll have the store state. I don't need it. Okay, we have store country. Okay, we need that. Now from this store fonts, I don't need all of this. I'll click this, hold my control, click this, grocery square feet. Now if you notice, these columns here, they are 100% empty. So that means there's nothing inside them practically. So I am removing all of these columns here. They are all empty. Okay. So I'm going to right click and remove columns. Okay. So what we have here left is five columns in total. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay. So our tables are perfectly cleaned. Our tables are perfectly cleaned. Okay. So we have our table here, transaction, our main table which we appended, transaction the weekday. This is what I named it. You can name yours how you want. Now I have mine here, another table that I brought in here, customer lookup. Now these tables make up one data, but they are in different tables. Now if you notice, there are some persons that work in an office. Now they have a lot of tables that they are working with, which they would like to merge. They have a lot of tables which they would like to merge. Now this is what I'm trying to show us here is how to go about this. Now that we've cleaned this table, now let's go ahead and see if we can merge the table. Okay, now for us to merge this table, I'm going to go to my, let me go to my, okay, now I'm on my home here. Now if I come to this place, I have combine here. I have combine here. Now under this combine, I have my merge queries here. Now some persons might see theirs straight up here as merge queries and then append queries. Okay, now mine is under combine here, so I'm going to come to merge queries and click on merge queries. Not merge queries as new, but just merge queries. Now my table, the first table I appended will open, which is this transaction here. So this is a preview of the data. Now under here, I can see my other tables too. You can see the customer, the product, the region, and the store. Okay, so I'm going to pick in my customer first of all to merge. Now if I click on that customer, the table opens too for me to be able to create the relationship between the tables. Now like I said, or like we said, we use data of the same structure to merge tables. We use data of the same structure to merge tables. And now if you noticed, this our table here is a customer table. So it simply means that we're going to use the customer ID here to link it. Why? Because here we have our customer table and then we have our customer ID here. So we need to link this and this customer ID to customer ID for us to make this work. Okay, now I've linked this and this. Now it's showing the selection matches this of this row from the first table. Now this simply means that our relationship worked. So I'm going to click OK. Now when this opens, it opens like this, table, table, table. Why? Because I need to still expand the table. Now if you notice, our our column here on the original table is just 7 columns. Now let's see what happens when we merge properly. Now on this place, I'm going to open this. I'm going to expand this. I clicked on this arrow pointing sideways. Okay. Now on the filter button. Okay. Now because we have a customer ID here, already on the table, I do not need this customer ID. I do not need to introduce this customer ID again. So I'm going to uncheck it. Now I need names and the rest of these columns to be added here. Now if you look at this, use original column name as prefix. I am going to uncheck it. Now why did I uncheck it? I unchecked it because if I don't, all these column names you're seeing here will be replaced with this customer lookup, or it will be added to them, which I do not want. Or sometimes you will see customer lookup names, customer lookup customer country, customer lookup birth date, customer lookup gender. No, I do not want that. I still want these original column names to be retained as it is. Okay, that is why I am unchecking this use original column name as prefix. Thank you. Okay, so let's go forward. Now I'm going to click OK. Now when I click OK, the table will add. Now as you can see, we now have 13 columns in total now. We now have 13 columns in total. Okay, so this is what we have here. Now we need to also merge again. We're going to merge again. Now I'm going to come back to my merge queries again. Now I'm going to click on the let's merge the product. So product ID to product ID. Let's wait for it to merge to create the relationship. Okay, so I'm going to click OK. Okay, so I'm going to expand again. Now I'm only going to uncheck this product ID. Already, this person has been unchecked. So I am going to leave it as it is. Now I'm unchecking this product ID because already here, there's a column called the product ID which we used for this relationship. So there's no point bringing in this person inside here again. So I'm going to click OK. So I have this. Now we have 17 columns in total. So let's merge again. Okay, let me pick. So we're going to merge let's merge our store ID to store ID. Okay. Oh, I did not wait for that to load. Okay, let me expand this. I'm checking only the store ID, and I'm going to leave all these people because I'm not checking the region ID because I need this region ID to be able to link the region table. I need the region ID to be able to link the region table. So that is why I still need it. Because if you look at this column here, if you look at our table, we don't have anywhere that has region ID inside here. We don't have any region ID here. The only place we have a region ID is inside the store table. So I need to introduce the region ID in here first of all, then I can now merge our region table to it. So I'm going to click OK. Okay, so we have this. We have 17 columns before, now we have 21 columns. Okay, so let's do the last one. Merge queries. The last one is the region. So region ID. Now if I scroll to this place, I'll see that region ID that I merged. So I'm going to click this and this to be able to merge. Okay, I'm going to click OK here. So let's expand this. So I'm unchecking this region ID because I don't need to introduce it again. So I'm only going to introduce one column now, which is sales region, and I'll click OK. So I think we're going to be having 22 columns in total. So we'll have 22 columns in total at the moment. Okay, so this is what we have. This is what we have. This is what we have right here. Okay, so this is how to merge a table. This is how to merge a table. This is how we can merge our table. So we now have one large table instead of having different tables scattered everywhere. So this is how you can incorporate your work into one large table and work with it, analysis with it, do whatever it is you want to do with it, visualize with it, and all of that. Okay, now we've done why we are here. We've done what brought us here. So now the next thing is, let me do one more thing for us before we end today's class, because today's class is simply for us to append and also to merge. Okay, if you have further questions, you can drop it in the comments, or you can meet me in class and we can discuss further on the data and all of that. Or if you have other work you want me to look at, you can also reach out and ask your questions. Okay, now let me go to the transaction date, because this data required me from the objective. I needed to do a trend analysis. I needed to do a trend analysis. Okay, now for me to do this trend analysis, it has to be on the date. I need to use the month, the quarter, and the year to do this analysis. So on this date here, I'm going to go to my add column. Now on the date, I'm going to go to month, name of month. Now I'm going to come back here again on the quarter of year. Okay, I have these two people added here. So I'm going to go back, select my date again, and yeah. Okay, so I have this. Now on the month name here, I want to make it 3 characters. Now I'm going to transform, extract, first character, 3, and okay. Okay. Now this is our quarter. Now on this quarter, okay, let it load. Okay, normally in a year we have 4 quarters. Okay, it has loaded. We have 4 quarters. We have quarter 1, 2, 3, and 4. Now I would like to add quarter, the character quarter to it, the spelling or the word quarter to it. Okay, so for me to do this, I'll select the column. I'll select the column, go to my add column. Now column from example, from selection. Now my quarter here is starting. There's a scrolling bar here, just in case you do not know. There's a scrolling bar here for me to see what is here. Okay, now my first quarter here is starting from quarter 1. Now I'll simply write here. I'm going to use the abbreviation quarter 1. Then I'll click enter on my keyboard. Now when I click enter, it will automatically fill this up for me. Then I can change this column here to the name quarter and then click OK. That is the column name that I just changed. Okay, so I have this here. Now if I click on this, filter it, it's going to unload more. It's going to give me let's see. Okay, we have quarter 1, 2, 3, and 4. So this is our aim here. Let me cancel this. Okay, so this is what we have. This is what we have. Now I'm going to be making this here text. If you have further questions, you can meet me in class to ask me, or you can send a message to us to ask further questions. Okay. Now again, let me add a bonus to this class. Let me add a bonus to this short class. Now, I want to show us how to create a calendar. I want to show us how to create a calendar or a date calendar. Okay, now for us to be able to do this, we are going to use a function called list dates to do this. Now this happens in maybe let me say in a scenario where you don't have a date in your data, but you want to do a trend analysis. You need to create one. Or let's say you don't want to work with the date you have on the calendar. You want to have another one. So I'm going to show us how to go about it. So let's look at it. Now for me to do this, I'm going to, on this space here, on this space right here, I'm going to right click. Now new query. Now under this new query, because I'm trying to create a new query. Now under this new query here, I'm going to click on a blank query. Now under this blank query, because I am trying to write a calculation, sorry, a function. I'm trying to write a function. I'm going to write equal to. Now equal to starts every function and all of that, or calculation that you want to do. So now if you look at this place, this is function. F of x means function in mathematics. So I write equal to here. Now under my equal to, I'll write lists. As I'm writing lists dot dates, okay, let me do this. Okay, I have it. List dot dates. If I click on this, okay, it's coming out double. Let me remove one. Okay, list dot dates. Then let's go. I'm going to open a bracket. Sorry. Okay, then hash dates. Let me open another bracket. Dates. Now, because our data is 2020, 2021, 2022, I'm going to start my date with 2020, January 1st January 2020. So I'm going to be writing 2020, comma 01, comma 01. Okay, I have this here. Now in between here, I'm going to put right comma. Okay. Now here, okay, sorry. Now, okay, let me click this here. Okay, thank you. Now I have this. Okay, now I have this. I'm going to be writing the number of days. Now, 1 year is 365. A leap year is 366. So I'm going to be starting with now 3 years is going to be 1096. So I'm going to be writing 1096. 906, then comma, then hash again, then duration, okay, I open a bracket, okay, sorry, open a bracket, 1, comma, 0, comma, 0, I'm writing duration. Okay, so this is what I have. So let's talk about what we just did now. Let me explain the function we just did. Now this is a high DAX function. This is not what is it called again? This is not a beginner function where you have your sum, your right, count, and all of that. Now this is a higher DAX function. Okay, now that we have this list dot here, let me explain. Now if you look at what is written here, we first of all called up the function list.dates. Now it said start as date, hash date. That is what it means. Hash dates, start as date. Now our start date is 2020-01-01. That's 1st January 2020. Now count as number. That is the next thing. Now how many years are we dealing with? We're dealing with 3 years. And 3 years is 1096. Okay. Now the next thing there is step as duration. Now this is the duration now. 1000 in binary. The duration in binary. Okay. Now this is what we have here. Now as I've written this, I'm going to click enter. Now I have this. I have this. Now as I have this, I'm going to convert to table. Now here I'm going to click here. Okay, let me see. Okay, let's click OK. I don't need that. Now here I'm going to change, it's going to appear like this. Now I'm simply going to change the data type to what it should be, which is date, and then simply rename this column to dates. Okay, let me do this properly. Dates, enter. Okay, so our table here, which is this person, is still showing query 1. So I'm going to rename it here on the query settings name. So I'm going to rename this to calendar. Okay, so I've named it here and it's going to change here instead of showing query 1. Okay, so I have this. Now, if you look at this, if I filter this, I have from 2020, let's check what we did, 2021, and then 2022. So we are on track. So I'm simply going to still again extract the same things we did here, add column, date, month, name of month, quarter of year, click on my dates, year and year. So we have this. So let me extract first character, transform, extract first character, 3, and OK. So on the quarter, we are still doing the same thing we did again. I'll click on it, on add column from example, from selection. Okay, I'm writing quarter 1. So I'm changing this to quarter and OK. So I'll be making the year text. Thank you. So we have our own calendar which we created on our own now. So we have our calendar that we created on our own. I can simply go ahead and remove this because we don't need it again. And I can also do the same thing to this person we have here. Where is it? I think it should be by here. Okay, yes, I can also remove this if I wish. But no, let me just leave it there. It's not doing anything though. Okay, so this is what we have now. This is what we have now for our calendar. Now I'm going to go ahead and load this data. Okay, I'm going to go ahead and load this data. So for me to do this, I'm going to go to my home. On my home, close and apply. So I'll click on it and wait. Okay, so while we are waiting for this to load, I'm going to show us how to further do the relationship manually here in Power BI. Okay, now we are going to look at doing this. Now in the next class, I'm going to show us how to um, create your measures, create a table here, and then do your measure calculations and all of that. Okay, let's just give it a few seconds to finish loading. Okay, it seems it has finished loading. So let's get to um, our work now. Let's get to our work. Okay, we are going to be looking at our relationship. Okay, so this is our tables here. This is our table here. Now we have this. Okay, so this is where we're going to be looking at our model view. Let's look at our relationship. Okay, let me collapse all of this so I can see clearly. Okay, sorry, don't mind this table showing here. I was working on something earlier. I was doing a particular work on Power BI earlier. I was creating a table when I did this. So I think I added it. Okay, so let's get to this. Now, this is what we did. If you look at the connection here, you're going to see it. Now, I came to this place on my model view. This is where I got this. Now, this is our tables. Now, if you look at the wireframes here, you will see how they are connected. If I place my mouse here on this small arrow here, you will see that, okay, this is how, and I can move these tables around. I can move this here, and I can also shift this up a little bit. Okay. Okay, let me move this up because it's too down. Let's have something that we can see properly. Let me move this up a little bit. Okay, so this is our relationship. This is the table we merged. This is how the relationship happened here. So all the tables, they are all connected to this person here, if you noticed. Everybody's connected to this. Now, if you notice, this person is not connected yet because we created it separately after we've merged and all of that. So what we're going to do now is simply to also merge it. So let me move it somewhere here. Let me shift this person up and bring it here. Okay, now we have it here. I'm going to create the relationship now manually. So I have my date here and I have my, where is it? Sorry, let me move this up. And I have my transaction date here. So I'm going to use these dates and these dates to create this relationship. Now, this is very simple. All I'm going to simply do is I am going to drag these dates and I'm going to drop it like I'm removing it. I'm going to drop it on top of this transaction date. Now this will open. New relationship. You can see this. Select tables and columns that are related. Now I've already selected. I have already selected. So this is what I selected here, my transaction dates and the date I have here. Set make this new relationship active, and I'll click save. So let's give it a moment. So you can see, let me bring this down for you to see a little bit. Have you seen that it has created? Now we have, if I place my arrow, my mouse here, we can see that date here is highlighted and transaction date here is highlighted. So these are what we used to create this relationship. Okay, so this is what I wanted to show us here on the relationship. So please, like I said, ignore this table that I'm going to remove it later on. As you can see, it's actually empty. Okay, so let me go back to our report view. Okay, that table is the table you're seeing here. So please do ignore it because you will not have it on your own. So please ignore that table. Okay. Okay, let me even remove it from my, let me delete it so it doesn't cause any confusion. Okay, so I've removed the table. And if you still come back here, you will no longer see it because I've removed it. Okay, thank you. So this is what we have for today. This is what we have for today. And if I come to my table view here, I can see our table. Let me click on it, transaction. Okay, I can see our table here. So this is what we did. So please, on your own, the age we extracted, try to do an age group for this. You can do maybe 9 years, 10 years, 7 years, group it maybe into 5 groups or 6 groups. Okay, maybe from 16 to maybe 20 something or that. Okay, so you can just do your own grouping for that. Okay, so this is it for our data. This is it for our append and merge data. So this is what we have. Okay, so I'm going to be ending this class for today. Thank you very much for listening, and I'm going to see us next time and very soon. Thank you.